And I would say the most common obstacle, I'm gonna call it obstacle, that I hear most people say is, I don't have time. We all technically, we got time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning, if you have 10 minutes in the morning, I personally believe that if you can create some kind of routine in the morning that involves movement, whether it is a walk outside, whether it is just like a quick, like 5 minute stretch, something to get the blood flowing. Movement actually helps with your happy hormones. It makes you feel better. It boosts your mood. So there's really four different happy hormones in our bodies. Exercise and how we implement movement in our day will trigger those things. So if you can block off 10 minutes in the morning, right? Um, if you could block off 10 minutes in the morning to designate to some type of movement, because if we say like we're going to work out after work, the day happens, meetings happen, by the time we're done, like the last thing we want to do is go pick up a weight. The last thing we want
Yeah.
to do is stop anywhere to go to the gym. Like
Yes.
we're going home. Okay. So if you can, I highly recommend if you could fit that in the morning of your day, the hardest part, quote unquote, is done. That way
Mm-hmm.
excuses don't build throughout the day as the meetings and stuff happens.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
even saw you post something on LinkedIn, I think this past week, about if you can scroll on your phone for 5 minutes, that you can do some type of movement for 5 minutes. And so I think that definitely kind of ties in to what you just shared with us just now.
Mhm. I tell people all the time, go to your activity tracker on these apps. It'll tell you how long you on there.
Yeah, that's
It'll tell you.
scary. It's scary sometimes. I try not to, but it's scary, but it also becomes reflective. So I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Another question I wanted to kind of throw at you as well is burnout looks different for a lot of people. So it looks differently for everybody. What have you seen or have you learned or trends that you can share with us? What are some of the most overlooked signs of burnout, especially in high performing professionals? And how can having a routine around fitness or mental wellness help to mitigate these symptoms before they escalate too much?
I love that you asked that. Um, the reality is, like, even before we get to burnout, we're stressed. So there's level to this, right? There's level to this. So your first stage before you even get to the burnout is stress, right? We all get stressed. Stress is your body's immediate is your body's reaction to immediate challenges. So this could be a deadline that's approaching and you ain't even get started yet. Like this could be, small things like that. After stress is chronic stress. Chronic stress happens when we don't manage the beginning stage of our stress. So
Okay.
this is constant things. So the chronic stress. Once we get chronic stress that again is not managed properly, that's where we'll get to burnout. So there are going to be different signs between burnout and stress, so you can catch them early. So let's see. So for stress, notice how your body feels. If you're noticing you're getting tight here, right? If you notice that your hips are tighter, if you notice that you're getting headaches, if you're starting to withdraw from like social activities, if you're usually like the social butterfly, or you usually go out with your coworkers for lunch, or you're more the social person and you start to kind of like retreat and withdraw, those are going to be
Hmm.
more early signs of your stress.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
your burnout could be more, yes, more body aches and tension. It could be consistently getting sick. And if you usually don't get sick and you start getting sick more, that it could be not feeling connected to the work that you're doing.
Hmm.
Okay, I've been there, done that. Starting not
Yeah.
to feel connected to the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, this could also be just doing, and doing
Yeah.
without a
Yeah. That's
pause.
that high performer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Secretly, you're stressed and on the way to burnout, right? So just those main things. I could go over more like on the other sides, but those are just different things to to look out for. And especially from a leader, if you notice like someone from your team, if their productivity or work quality is starting to decline, and you know this said person puts out top tier work and it's not so top tier lately, just think of that. And then maybe even changes in workload. So just be mindful um with that. And just also um stress and burn stress and burnout can also be reflected in how we also communicate with people,
Yeah. Yeah.
coworkers, bosses, things like that. Like it'll show up in how we communicate. If I'm a little bit more snappy, something wrong, right?
Yeah.
If I'm usually a pleasant person. So there are definitely signs along the way.
And so, kind of sticking in that lane, because I know I just kind of experienced that with an employee situation. How can managers support that? Right? Like if they don't really necessarily know what's going on, but they are starting to see this change or this shift in this individual's character, or to your point, their output, their work performance is starting to change. What can leaders do to support or be proactive when they're starting to potentially see some signs?
Yeah. I would say even just being proactive, the leader, everything starts with the leader. The leader has to make sure that they are themselves taking care of themselves
That
first
is
and
true.
foremost.
The same, but like on the airplane, we gotta make sure we put our
Exactly.
mask on first.
Exactly. And I say that because you'll be able to be more empathetic with your team. You'll be able to, again, communicate better. Just overall, how you take care of yourself reflects in how you treat your team.